Hey guys, welcome back to the channel today. This is Prep Texas. Today guys, we're going to talk about SHTF secondary weapon options and why. So a lot of people think, of course, that they need something like this for their secondary weapon, which is an awesome option, really. This is the Gen 5, from the light Gen 5 Glock 17. I got the 19 round plus 2 Hollow Sun 507C, and I got the O-Light Valkyrie. I know some of you guys really hate O-Lights, and you always tell me in the comments, but this one has been pretty phenomenal for me. So we have a few different guns here that may not look like your typical secondary weapon choice. But again, guys, with my videos, I really want you to have some critical thinking about SHTF and what it's really going to mean for you. And if you watch my primary weapon video, you have an idea of my stance on that. But I wanted to go over a few options here for secondary weapons, knowing that this is going to be your backup, and your secondary weapon is always to fight your way back to your primary weapon, right? So having said that, I threw a couple things in here that you might not consider as an SHTF secondary weapon, but I think would be a hell of an asset, like this Mossberg Shockwave, for instance. Let's say you have a small caliber primary weapon. For whatever reason, guys, if you're using a 22 as your SHTF primary weapon, good on you. You're going to need something with some power. So this Mossberg Shockwave would be a hell of an idea. Also, you got to think about, what if you have to breach some doors? You can't do it with a 9mm. It'd be really hard to do it with a 5.56 rifle. But with this guy right here, super easy to get into doors. And just close range combat and having a lot of power up close in general. These are phenomenal little weapons that you can stuff in a backpack or strap to the side of your pack and have a lot of firepower as long as you carry plenty of these things. Now, I know that a lot of you guys have this ideal setup in your head that you're going to carry an AR-15 and a Glock 19 and rule the world. And I'm with it, guys. I'm with it. If that's what you have, then carry it. As you can tell, I love Glocks. I think that they are by far the most reliable pistol. Not the most ergonomic, definitely not the prettiest, but the most reliable. And that's why they're such a great option for preppers in SHTF, because they are long lasting, parts are readily available, ammo and magazines are readily available, and they're phenomenal guns. Now let's say you have something like this. This is the Smith & Wesson EZ380. And this is really a sweet little pistol. This is my wife's everyday carry. And I know a lot of you guys have a lot to say about these, but again, this gun, my sample size of 1, has been a phenomenal little gun. I haven't had any issues with the magazines feeding bullets into it, like some people. I haven't had stovepipes out of it, like some people. It's ran pretty flawless. I will say we do use good ammo through it. We don't use just cheap 380. But this is a good choice, knowing that your secondary weapon is to fight your way back to your primary weapon. This isn't what we're going to be going to battle with, guys. This is what we're going to be trying to dig ourselves out of a bad hole with, right? This is going to be our last ditch effort to try to get away from somebody, if we have to. Now there is a couple things I want to talk about, especially with a gun like this one. Now if you're carrying, let's say your primary weapon in SHTF is going to be a shotgun. Well, you know that your range is very limited with a shotgun. Even with slugs, you're looking at 100 yards, 150 yards max. But if you're not carrying slugs, if you're carrying around birdshot or buckshot, you got 40 or 50 yards, guys. That's about it. So to back something up like a shotgun with a gun like this that I can easily ding plates at 100 yards with. It can reach out just a little bit further and touch. Well, then something like this might be a great option for a secondary weapon. Something like this would be a great option for a secondary weapon. I like Glock 19s, but I have big old paws. So when they came out with this Glock 45, I was all over it. Fits my hand well. A lighter reciprocating mass on top leads to softer recoil, I feel like. And it's a great gun. I'm really with it. And then we have this guy. Well, why would you put a .22 revolver in as your SHTF secondary weapon? Well, again, guys, scope of use. Are you going to be fighting the whole time you're in SHTF, or are you going to be hunting and trying to survive? These are things you have to think about. So if you're carrying around an AK-47 as your SHTF primary weapon, well, how are you going to take small varmints if you don't have something like this? If you hit a squirrel with that AK, it would turn it into red mist. So having something like this as a secondary weapon might be a very smart idea. There's all kind of options, guys. I don't want you to watch YouTube and these Gucci gun tubers and make you think that you need a tricked out Glock Gen 5 with a red dot and flashlight to survive SHTF, or even a Glock in general if it's out of your price range. It's not necessary. It's great to have, a great asset, but it's absolutely not necessary when something like this is much cheaper. Something like this is much, much cheaper, and you can carry a ton of ammo for something like that. No weight. 120 rounds of .22 weighs nothing, and you can pack it away very tightly. So when you're thinking about a secondary weapon option during SHTF, I want you guys to think about your point of use. What is your primary weapon, and how is it going to be lacking in some of the categories that you need, and how can you make that up in your secondary primary weapon? Your secondary weapon, I'm sorry. So I know I don't have a whole bunch of different brands and calibers. I like Glocks, and so I keep quite a few of them. But guys, whatever you have can work in SHTF if you train with it, if you practice, if you stock up the correct ammo, if you maintain it by cleaning it when it needs to be cleaned, checking your springs when they need to be checked. A secondary weapon can definitely save your life in an SHTF situation if your primary weapon goes down. So tell me down in the comments, guys, what you think, what you would carry as your secondary weapon during SHTF, and what do you think I missed on this video? And if you like this kind of content, if you like my theories about SHTF, well, please like, subscribe, and share our videos to help us grow so we can continue to put good content out for you guys. In the meantime, guys, stay prepped up. This is Prep Texas, signing off.